I want to talk about end of economic history and what will happen afterwards when the new technologies like 3D printing or smart agriculture or solar or nanotechnology or quantum physics, they they reduce the cost of production to such a level that producing another item would be almost zero price. So it will lead into zero marginal cost society. But then again, something else will happen is that many things that are very valuable or were very valuable, they they kind of become passe products, even though in the past they 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 would be considered precious or valuable in some form or another. But technology makes them kind of available, and they're not really that much of a significance. So there is a study. I think the guy who came up with it called it the Maslow triangle, something like that. On the bottom is all the physical needs like food and shelter, and then on the higher level would be like need for security, emotional well-being, and then still higher up would be like spiritual or mental needs. Some people have the brain disease. They like all these mathematical structures or intellectual pursuits, but then it leads into spiritual experiences. I think a lot of people will become in such a society that they'll become like experience junkies. Well, there is other studies that when a society has a lot of members that have disposable income, like they're middle class or they have an income and they're not rich or they're not demented like my relatives or they just have some disposable income and free time. Then people tend to go into different areas that would be considered just desire to have exceptional experiences. Well, some will become heroin addicts. Well, that's an experience. Or we have a lot of hashish addicts or teriyakis, or other ones become alcoholic. Or never mind that part. But then other people would develop intellectual pursuits or artistic, because those other needs like need for shelter will kind of fade away. Well, I think a lot of people they they become very conscious of the social pecking order, like how you, if you are in such a neighborhood, oh my God, what would happen? I'll be next to this idiot that played in that movie. How would it be? Well, the property value in that neighborhood where the idiot lives will just skyrocket. There's no reason for it, but the flimsy investments and pursuits. Well, actually, American Wall Street is nothing but hype, and the monies they pour into buying their own shares back is nothing. It has no fundamental reasons for this company to have such a valuation. It's just the money that they have poured into it. and the games they play in the derivative market, and but the when there is time and there is money, there is many things that people pursue, and when one is spiritual or also mathematical too, because these pursuits, these experiences, they are kind of like endless vista, endless new things you can discover, or endless experiences you can have. Well, when I go into the Sufi temple, the way it works, in the beginning of the ceremony, they read, somebody who has a very good voice reads the poems of the Sufi master, in which they are like psalms, or they're like really nice poetry, but a lot of it deals uh, with what went on spiritually, or the they call it monajat, which means like talking to God, and the feelings that arise, which is what goes on in everybody, but not to such a fine sentiment. There's not doesn't have such sophistication and such. I think that the universe is nothing but this love, and when it manifests itself, it can take on many shades, and this is what this pursuit goes on. So when there is no underlying need or concern, then this will become the pursuit. Actually, I think we'll all become, in one form or another, some kind of experience junkies. It could be drugs, or it could be intellectual or spiritual, or sex or relationships also can become a form of addiction. Well, addiction doesn't have to be just to drugs, it can be to other things. Like when I pray, I pray for two things. One is the communion with God, and being able to receive all these niceties, all these experiences. And the other that I care about is seduce as many women as I can and sleep with as many as I can before I expire personally. So these are both like they're both experiences, and I am in a form of experience junkie. Then another thing I like a lot is I like math and philosophy, especially math, because the mathematical landscape is like endless. Like there are endless structures, endless pursuits. I think that at some point, tourism in the United States will take on a form which is like you go into a simulator or simulation, and then you're kind of, the whole environment changes, and you have all these sensors that induce tactile experiences, or visual or audio experiences of being in like different places, different countries. It's a form of experience junkiesm, but it has to do with different locations and stuff like that. Well, some films, some movies, like The Lost, the series, they are kind of like that. You see the actors, they are stuck in this island, but they're having visions of their past life. It's coming up playing with them. I was watching this sci-fi movie. Somebody or there might be this device that can record all your inner experiences. Like there are some MRI machines that can record brain waves, and there is now another machine that can match each brain wave with the image of what produces it. So, for example, a doctor could record these brain waves of a person sleeping, and then use this software to generate those images, or images that are very similar to what that brain wave meant, and then kind of see what this person was dreaming about, like recreate that experience. I think I have gotten into other areas that are very interesting. One is I've gotten into nootropics. I know a lot of them, and I also have purchased and have them. And then also nootropics that are not like chemical synthesis. They are more like herbal liquid extracts that I kind of mix them up. For example, on my limitless pill, it's not a pill, it's actually a drink, a Diet Coke plus 12 liquid extracts. I make that and drink it. When the brain has many regions, it doesn't necessarily have just intellectual or emotional centers. It has many functions. So what these nootropics do? They increase the activity in those areas. They kind of invigorate these sections. So my inner life and my intellectual life become more alive and richer, something like that. It's like taking a limitless pill, and this is, I think, kind of going the same direction with becoming an experienced junkie, or what the rest of humanity will do or will be doing shortly. I have other sets of herbal liquid extracts. I take tons of supplements, but there's about 12 or 13 that are like for internal organs. They're very potent herbs to help me, help my liver or kidney, or my need for proteins that I used to make when I was 20 years old, and stuff like that. There is yet a third group of herbal extracts. Is like 12 or so. Sometimes they're 14. I make them like I get a cup of Diet Coke, and put like 12, 13 different liquid extracts, herbal extracts. And now, Shazam! I'm not 59 years old. I'm more like 27. I got chances with women, and things work out just right. Anyhow, but the brain, which is usually where a lot of experiences happen, I think some happens in the heart. Uh, it, it's very susceptible to chemical inducements, and many neurons, they do different things. If they are tweaked with different herbs or different nootropics, they work a lot better. Uh, then this can go on with supplements, but I don't like pills that much. I like the liquid extracts because you just put them in a little Diet Coke, and that's it. The magic of whatever that herb could do for you is there, and I think I am very conscious of the new technologies and how they help me tweak the brain, tweak the internal organs. It's like biohacking, and get a lot more of what I could be getting. Well, there is something else that happened when I went to college. It was like 1978, 1982, 1983, and then I came to California, and I took more courses, and the kind of courses I usually took, which had something to do with two disabilities that I have, is usually courses that are very mathematical, like it took courses in quantum physics or advanced calculus, or stuff that's just you screw around with equations, and not a whole lot of reading, but more manipulating and stuff like that, or modeling and using the equations. And there's a reason for that, because when I came, I had to, it was like I was thrown into a frying pan. I had to learn English and at the same time learn all this technical stuff, and also do a lot of reading, and my reading speed really sucked. It was like about, at best like 30 words per minute, and sometimes slower. And before, when I went to graduate school, I would just try to read stuff like once, maybe at most twice, and it was painful and very slow. I dedicated a lot of time, and my grades were complete crap. And later on, I took an IQ test. Actually, I took several IQ tests, and the IQ I got was like 153. And after I got my IQ test number, I sat and wondered, like, my IQ is so high. Why were my grades such piece of crap? Like, they were like, most B or B minus. And then something else happened. My diabetes went out of control, and I got infection, and actually I had many eye surgeries, so I lost one of the eyes, and then it became more difficult to read. I had to adjust until the other eye came back to normal. So I started resorting to all these computer programs to, there are some that take the text and convert it to audio, which is for disabled people. And also later on in the monitors, you can adjust the size of the text. And so what happened with these programs? There is two that I really use a lot these days. One is called Read Please, or Read Please 2003, and I just clip whatever text I want, and it could be a long article. I have the program read it to me. It's usually a girl, and they are very natural sounding. So what this did, it totally freed me from constantly staring. When you read, you have to take a step, and then your brain converts it, you understand it. But I guess some people, they're more attuned to audio uh, than visual. So I'm one of those. And then this kind of speeded up my my reading. It was like a very pent up desire to read or learn about other stuff, and it was just freed me completely. And I started reading a lot of books. Well, there's another program. It's called Text Aloud, and what Text Aloud does is very nice. You can take entire books, and it actually opens up entire book, usually like a PDF or sometimes other formats, and then it reads it in very nice natural voice like a lady's, and it also breaks it up into like 15-minute chunks. So what I was able to do is to read a lot of books. I used to read a lot of quantum physics books, but I had to read them slowly and also in a print form. But this way now, huge amounts of text became available to me in a very easy format. This was kind of like a real breakthrough. My grades were going straight up to A, and well, these combination of these technologies and herbal extracts and nootropics really changed. Well, I am going back to school, but this time I'm going to get a law degree and also try to pass the law exam. But with these technologies, like I don't just read. Say, for example, there is a topic I want to study, like legal memorandums. Well, I go on the Google and clip all these text, so I'm not reading about this topic in just one book from my textbook. I'm reading it from like 5, 10 different sources, and actually I learned this how to do this in the graduate school. I learned to like reread difficult text, not just once, but like 3, 4 times, and some text would make sense after like the 4th reading. I was doing celestial mechanics, and the 4th readings, everything comes into focus because it's very mathematical. Anyhow, but I think that these technologies helps society gradually become richer in those areas, in intellectual. I read somewhere that the IQ of entire population is rising. I don't know what it might be in different countries. Some countries it's gone to 110. I think the Asians are pretty bright, and they study very hard. Um, then these technologies, they're very helpful. Also, in some meditation and Sufi temples, they are not limited to just personal prayers, and I think they use music or the lighting system to enhance these experiences. Actually, there is a concept, it's called blended learning, where you bring different technologies to get a greater impact. Uh, I think some people are very tuned to audio learning. Others are more tuned to visual by seeing stuff, and other people are is more kinesthetics, or I don't know how that would be, but it's a category. Well, thank you very much for being in my YouTube channel, and my stuff is research. I don't know what I have to come up with for the name for this video. Please subscribe and leave a comment.